All right. Well, hello everyone. My name is Eric, and welcome to today's info session from Neotech Academy. And I was telling the folks as they were logging in that I'm always excited about doing these webinars because number one, we don't do them very often. Sometimes a couple times a month, some months we don't do them at all. And so I always look forward to doing these with people because I'm not trying to sound dramatic, but they really are life changing. And here's what I mean by that. I don't mean the webinar itself is life changing. I'm not going to be presumptuous to say that, but I mean what we offer is life changing. It's a boot camp, which we're going to tell you how that works a little bit later, where you really can change your life. So if you are tired of being in being in a rut, so to speak, maybe not getting paid what you're worth, or maybe you're in an industry where you've got to be in that industry for years and years, going up the corporate ladder before you're finally making a pretty good amount of money, or whatever the reason might be. Maybe you're not working remotely and you want to work remotely, or maybe you want to be in a growing industry. Then you're in the right place, is my point. And we have people from all walks of life. I've noticed that in recent months. We've had people from the medical field, like nurses, for example, that are making a transition to the IT world. We've had people who are teachers. They are, working in education, of course. We have people who are bartenders. Maybe they're in between jobs, in between careers, and they're doing rideshare, doing Uber and Lyft, trying to figure things out. The good news is it doesn't really matter what you're doing right now or what you have done. It doesn't matter what your educational background is. And we're going to talk about this a few times. We're going to mention this a few times today. It doesn't matter what your educational background is. Doesn't matter if you have a 4-year degree or not. It doesn't matter what your age is. This is a big thing too. Yes, people will ask, well, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s, or even 60s, and can I really transition to a new career? The answer is yes. What you're going to see, and we try to keep these webinars under an hour so you can get the information and just, be on your way. But what you're going to see is that this industry, the IT industry, really it checks a lot of boxes for people in that, you don't have to have the experience. We're going to give you the experience. That's why we call what we're discussing today a boot camp. We'll give you real projects to work on. We'll help you with your CV, your resume. We even have job placement where we'll do whatever we can to assist you in your job search. Additionally, we'll get to your questions in just a little bit. We're going to talk about the tuition. You'll see in our tuition that we're taking a lot of risk because number one, our tuition is not going to be what you would normally have to pay with a lot of boot camps that are out there where you're getting a lot of irrelevant information. I mean, our boot camp is made by people who are in the industry right now, so it's all market driven, but it's substantially less in cost. And we'll go through the cost. Trust me, we'll go through all that in just a little bit. And we even give you a money back guarantee. And then we have the job placement on top of all that. So again, that's why I get excited about this because people have really changed their life. We operate we're based in the US, but we operate around the world. We have students all around the world who are doing what they want to do. And when I look over here to the chat, real quickly, I was asking people, before we started, what are some things that you want in a job, in your ideal job? And I see quite a bit of working from home, at least part-time remote. One person said, working from anywhere. There you go. Be able to take a vacation, not living paycheck to paycheck. I hear that a lot from folks. Being able to save, so not every single dollar you make is going to pay the bills and the groceries. You got nothing left over. And answering calls for Medicaid, and they just dropped me to part-time and cut all my hours. Yeah, I see a lot of stories like this and hear a lot of stories like this, where people they don't really have the job security that they felt that they had. And so good news, you're in the right place. Now, I'm going to be joined in just a few minutes by one of our co-founders, and he's one of our lead trainers as well. His name is Elian. He'll come on and introduce himself, and he's also going to be interviewing a graduate, an alumni, and he'll be telling you about his story. He was sitting in a webinar just like this wondering who are these guys? Can they really help me get to, help me get to where I want to, where I want to be? And so he's, I would say, living the dream right now. You'll hear from him in that interview in just a little bit. All right, but let's go ahead and dive into this. Like I said, I'm pretty excited about this. Excited for you guys. And that's going to be September the 7th. You'll see this all over our PowerPoint. September the 7th. That's going to be our start date of our 6 month boot camp, where you're going to learn more in 6 months than would take years to learn on the job. So we're going to be shortening that learning curve for you. So first of all, why consider an IT career? Well, I think everybody here would agree that the IT industry, this is where some of the fastest growing occupations are. And it seems like everywhere you go, everything is technology driven. Almost everything we do nowadays is technology driven. I mean, we got cars on the road that are driving themselves. I mean, can you think about where we are right now and, think back to where we were, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and think about the advancements which have been made in technology. And this is a way for you to be a part of that. And so you've got potentially quicker employment. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. You have a variety of career opportunities. We'll give you a few ideas of how that works. Easy career growth and high salaries. That's probably one of the biggest things that you care about, right? You want to know how much am I going to get paid, and can I work remotely, right? So I will say this. Speaking of working remotely, it's hard to believe it's been over 5 years now since COVID was, I mean, that really became worldwide spring of 2020, and here we are now, summer of 2025. But remember back when companies were being shut down, and you had to go in, you couldn't go into the office, you had to work from home. In this industry, in the IT industry, IT really thrived. Why? Because there were already so many remote opportunities available as it was. And so this only increased those opportunities. So, we never say that we guarantee you'll get a remote job, but I will say this, the odds are in your favor. Let's just put it that way. There are some companies out there that, yes, they want you to come in the office, once in a while and work from home, kind of like a hybrid type role. But there are still plenty of companies where, yes, it's 100% remote. But there are more remote opportunities available today than there have ever been. So while all these other industries were floundering, during COVID, at the height of COVID, because they're shut down, they didn't know how to react to that. Well, in our industry, it was thriving because we were already used to that. So again, it doesn't matter what your education background is. It doesn't matter if you have a 4-year degree, an advanced degree. Some of you might have a degree, but it's not even in IT. I see that a lot. Don't worry about that. What matters is, can you do the job, which we're going to wind up training you to do. Okay. And a lot of people, when they first start out in their IT career, they wind up getting involved with what's called software testing. Now, some of you have probably heard that before, that term. Some of you might be wondering, what exactly is a software tester? I mean, it sounds kind of self-explanatory. I guess you're testing software, right? But what exactly is it? Well, think about it like this. You guys have all used, apps on your phone naturally, right? You've used Uber or Lyft if you want to, get a ride. You've used maybe the Amazon app. You've used Instagram, TikTok. You've used YouTube. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You name the app. So that's what you bring to the table. In other words, you've used technology, and you know that if you use an app, it's a good app if it works properly, right? Simple enough, right? But what companies will do is this, they put a lot of money into developing these products, these applications. So they want to make sure that they actually are operating correctly. They want to make sure that it looks like it's supposed to look. So here's what they do. They will hire people, again, just like you, to be software testers, and they'll give you what are called a list of requirements. And the requirements are like a checklist. So you simply go through the checklist and you make sure that everything was done properly by the development team, by the developers. So what are some examples? Well, you're going to make sure that the font is correct. You'll make sure the color scheme is correct. Probably the biggest thing, of course, is when you try to use it, does it work? Does it crash every time you try to use it? Now, here's the good news. you don't have to fix the problem. You see, you're simply, as a software tester, you're simply locating the problem, discovering if there is, in fact, a bug, as it's called, and then you let the development team know about this, the developers, and then they take care of that. Okay, so don't worry about, well, man, I every time I try to use this app, it crashes. I guess I got to fix it now. I don't know how to do that. No, yes, that's not what you're doing. You're simply finding out if there's a problem. That's all you're really doing. Okay, doesn't require an IT background. Positions at top tech companies, companies you've all heard of. And by the way, folks, the things that we're going to be talking about today, when we're done, I encourage you to go online. I mean, don't do it now because I don't want you to, be distracted. But when we're done, go online and look at job boards, and look for opportunities in your area, and you'll see top tech companies in just about every part of the country are looking for software testers. And a lot of them will allow you, these companies will, to work from home. So again, the IT industry is checking a lot of boxes. Now, how do we do this? How do we teach you? Well, we have what's called a career focused syllabus. And I want to emphasize that because if you're looking to just do this as a hobby, this isn't going to be for you because you're probably not going to do very well. You're not going to take it seriously because we actually do this like you're in school again. It is a PowerPoint type presentation, but we go beyond just PowerPoint. Now, I want to see if anybody here can relate to me. I have a hard time learning certain things, especially if they're on like a higher level, by someone just telling me. You know what I mean? Like somebody just tells me, hey, do this or do that, or they show me a PowerPoint or whatever. You got to do more than that for me to learn properly. You can't just tell me what to do. You've got to show me what it is you're doing. So tell me first, okay? Show me what it is you're doing, then let me do it. And then you let me know if I'm doing it correctly. Does that make any sense to you? You can respond to the chat if that makes any kind of sense to you. That's just how I learn. Maybe a couple of you in the chat, you might learn the same way. And that's how we teach here. It's called experiential training. So rather than just giving you a PowerPoint and that's it and saying good luck to you, no, we don't do that. We really try to make it as user friendly as possible to make sure you get it. So we have homework assignments also. We're going to go through the days of when the classes take place and the times. Don't worry if you have a job right now. That's fine because a lot of our students, they're in the same boat. They have a job. Maybe there are going to be some days or evenings where, they can't make it live. They just watch the recording. That's all. And you'll have people that you can reach out to for help, for guidance along the way. But it is a career focused syllabus, and you'll be learning all these things here. I mean, when I take a look at these, some of these might sound complex right now. Like what in the world is a software development engineer and test? Well, that's more automated. So you might start out as a software tester, but then, during the boot camp, you might learn something about, automation. And so you might say, okay, well, maybe after I graduate the boot camp, I'll be a software tester for a little while, but then I'll graduate to something else later, that will pay me even more money. So you might become a software development engineer and test. But my point is that we're looking for students who are looking to take it seriously and they truly want to change their life and have a career, a true career in IT. Now, we love course report is we love these accolades. I was going to say, course report is very well recognized in the industry. So they rated us as the best QA quality assurance testing bootcamp in 2023, as well as 2024. And then another company, Career Karma, rated us as the best software testing bootcamp also for 2024. So write that date down. I mean, we've got it all over this PowerPoint, guys. September 7th. That's the beginning of our next boot camp. It's a 6-month accelerated course. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. You'll be learning more in 6 months than it would take you being on the job years to learn. So think about where you are right now, and then imagine where you could be 6 months after the boot camp. Not really knowing much of anything about IT right now for most of you. And I don't mean that as an insult. So, I mean, don't take it the wrong way. That's our average student. Our average student doesn't have any type of IT background. Maybe a couple of you do, but you don't need it. I always say that, sometimes it's best to start something with a blank slate. you know? So you learn how to do things properly. But notice this, salary ranges anywhere from 80,000 to 130,000. And when we talk about the placement opportunities that we have available, where we're going to do everything we can to help you land that first job, you'll be able to see some of the offers that some of our students have gotten, within a few months on average after graduating from our boot camp. So you're going to be exposed to a broad perspective of tools and languages throughout our program. And again, some of these might sound kind of strange to you. Like, what in the world is a scrum master? That sounds like a rugby term or something, or an ETL tester or API tester. But again, you're going to learn all these things. It's just like I always use the example of, when I was in high school and I took calculus, and I didn't like it, when I first started, so that first semester I felt like I was getting behind, and then eventually it started clicking, and then I was okay. But then by that second semester, if you had asked me about what I learned in the first semester, where I was more confused, I would have been like, hey, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. Why? Because I had already done it, for an entire semester. So if we throw out some terms during our webinar tonight, don't worry, or today, I should say, don't worry about that. If they seem kind of foreign to you, you'll learn all this stuff. It's just the point that I'm making. Okay, you'll be fine. So here's what I want to do. I want to bring on one of our co-founders whose name is Elian. Elian's going to tell you more about, he'll tell you a little bit about himself. He'll tell you more about Neotech Academy. And we have a lot in store for you. We're going to go through the tuition, the money back guarantee, all that good stuff that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. Elian, you want to go ahead and take it over, my friend?
Yeah, thank you, Eric, for the introduction. So I'm going to share my screen. Uh, I hope that you can see my screen. Okay. So yeah, my name is Elion Limanai, and I've been a software developer for 20 years right now. And today I'm going to talk about our curriculum, talk about the schedule, information about the course, and then also I'm going to invite one of our alumni, which will be our guest. He's going to talk about his experience in bootcamp. So before he joined the bootcamp, while he was in the bootcamp, and now that he's working as a software tester. So let me go over what is testing, right? So testing is you are trying, as Eric explained in short, right? You're trying to make sure that the product, the application is working as expected. So a company is hiring developers, which are creating the software, and also the same company is also hiring the testers, which are trying to make sure that the software is working as expected. Why? Because they don't want, right? They don't want whenever they make updates, they don't want the software to crash, right? They don't want their customers to see their software crash. So let me see if you have any questions here. Okay, perfect. And and during the time, right? So this every time that an update is done, the testers they make sure that everything is working as expected. So you can do these things manually, right? Which is called, right? You can become a manual tester. But of course, the salaries are low, and also, right, and also now more and more the companies are trying to hire. They're trying to hire software testers, right? Which automation testers, which are able to do these things with code, right? With scripts. So that's why, right? That's why we are also teaching you what is coding, what is programming. So in our bootcamp, we teach about Java programming language, is the base of the bootcamp, and after that, we teach the other tools. We build them on top of Java. By the way, guys, if you go to a company, they might be using another programming language, but still they can hire you even you don't know that programming language. As long as you know the logic, as long as you know what you can do, it doesn't matter because you can quickly learn and adjust with a new programming language. And of course, Java is one of the strongest one of the most commonly used. That's why we're teaching Java. So like we're gonna spend like 3 months teaching Java to you, and then after that we're gonna teach automation testing, right? So we're gonna teach those tools, which is and of course, again, right, we're gonna use some terminology, some names here. If you don't understand them, don't worry, guys, because we teach them step by step, one by one. So we're gonna teach about Cucumber, TestNG, Selenium. Those are the testing tools which allow you to communicate with the browser, to write some scripts there, and to make sure that everything right is working as expected. And if something goes wrong, you can take the screenshot and create a report right, of whatever you tested and whatever went right or wrong. So after this part here, right, you can start, right, working as a front end tester. But of course, again, we don't stop there because we want our students to be exposed to more and more job openings, and also, right, to have the full view of what a software tester can do. So after this part here, you become a front end tester. You know what the users can see, and you can test, right? You can write all the tests for what a user, right, from the user perspective. But of course, every information is stored in the database, right? It's stored somewhere. So that is called backend of the software, the part that the user don't see. But of course, we as developers and also you as users should be able to test that part to make sure that also that part is working fine, right? So that's why also we teach about database and API, which are the back part of the software, and also we teach you about, right, what is database, what is API, how they're used, and also how to test the database and the API. So after this part here, guys, these are all the technical, right, all the technical classes that you need. You know manual testing, you know front-end testing, you know back-end testing, and also if you know all of them, you're called a full stack because you know everything, a full stack test, and then you're gonna be, right, applying for the jobs. So these are the like the technical class that we teach. But of course, during this process, guys, we want to prepare you also for the interviews, and we call it. We have one of the class which is called a soft skill class, one per week. Every time we are teaching you what are the meetings that are done in this, like in this work, right? So what are the meetings? How many times per week do you meet? What do you talk there, right? Or also what are the terminologies that are used? What are the different technologies? What are the different tools that are taught, right? So you need to express yourself, right? So what is the project that you have been working on and everything? So we are preparing you for the interviews, and that is, right, that is our soft skill classes. We teach you, right, the questions that are asked in the interviews, and also, right, towards the end when you're done, you also learn about preparing your resume because you need to go to the job, right, to the market, right, and to apply for the jobs in different websites. And then also, right, and then also we give you information, right, at the end we also give you information about the market, where to apply, how to apply, and also, right, and everything that you need for those interviews so that you can find a job. Even, right, even after this part, guys, when you find a job and you get an offer, right, during this time we have our career placement team or job placement team. That team will help you when you are applying for the jobs. You get some questions from the recruiters. Sometimes you get an offer. Is this one good or bad? Should I go with this one? Or I got multiple offers. What should I do, right? So all this information, right? We have a team of ours which will help you with this process even after, right? Even after the boot camp, okay? So, right, these are the tools, guys. You can see here, right? You can see here there are multiple tools, and I don't want you to be I don't want you to be scared, right? Because you see a lot of tools here. We teach them one by one. We start with Java, right? Which is the, right, I mentioned earlier, which is the programming language. We continue with Selenium, which is the tool that allows you to communicate with the browser. Then we go with, right, we go with TestNG and Cucumber, which are the tools that, right, allow us to run multiple tasks, to create reports, and to do everything there. And then, of course, there are GitHub, which is for coding purposes. We have Maven, which is, right, different types of projects. We have Postman and Rest Assured, which is the REST, right, which is the API testing. We have MySQL, which is database testing, and so on, and Jira Software, which is one of the most commonly used in project management. When you're trying to, right, when you're trying to work on a project, you need to make sure that people, I mean, different team players in the team, they need to get their own tasks, and they're supposed to do this task. So during the meetings, you are sharing those tasks with your team members, and at the end of the week, they check, right, if they were able to do it or not, and everything can be done through the Jira software. So one more time, guys, I don't want you to, right, to be scared and to say, oh my God, I'm going to learn all these tools, but I'm showing these to you so that you can do some research. Are these good tools? Is Postman a good tool for API testing? Is TestNG and Cucumber good tools? Is Java a good programming language? You can do your own research. You can ask your friends that might be in the field, right? Just to make sure you have an idea what will be taught in the bootcamp. So, and then of course, right? So the way that we're teaching here, guys, so we do live class as we were doing right now, right? We have a Zoom session right now. When we are teaching, you are from home or wherever you are, you can watch the class, and of course the class is being recorded. And also we are gonna share the recordings, right, with the students, so that if they want to, I don't know, if they missed the class, or even if they watched it but they want to rewatch it, so the recording will be shared with them. And the same thing will be done with this Zoom session here. What we're doing here, we are recording it now, and then later, right, later after we're done with the info session, again, we'll share this recording with you so that you can go back to the video, refer to the part that, I don't know, you're interested, or maybe share this video with another friend of yours which might be interested. So the same thing is done with the classes. So we don't have pre-recorded classes. We do the classes live. Students can ask questions to us. As of right now, we're using the webinar chat session, which is not very comfortable. During our class, we have a better tool, which is Slack, so they can ask their questions through Slack, okay? So we give them individual projects. We give them also group project in our, right, during the boot camp. We have extra, besides the classes, we have extra couple of hours with our instructors, which students which are behind or have questions, they can join the office hours, which are not mandatory, but they can join them and ask questions that if they want something to be explained again one more time for them. So also, guys, during every class, we do 2 tasks with the students. We share them some tasks they try to do, and then we do it together. The same thing after the class, we give a homework, right? And then when they come back, we do the homework together. We see how they solved it, and they see how the way that our instructors approach, right, to the homework solution, right? So we give coding challenges. We have created our own platform, which we give some coding challenges so the students can practice and try until they find the correct solution, right? At the end, we have the final assessment, which is, we call it the mock interview. Every student that is done with the bootcamp, before they start applying for the job, they go through our interview. One of our instructors, one of our mentors, they interview the students to make sure that they know everything, right? Not everything, but most of the things that were taught in the bootcamp, to make sure that they are at the level that they can start applying for the jobs. If they don't pass our mock interview, it means that they're not ready, and it's not good for them to apply, but they can go back. Of course, they're going to get some feedback. So go back and polish a little bit your SQL skills or your API skills, whatever, so that they can work a little bit on that. And then in 2 weeks, they come back, do another mock interview. And then when they're ready, they create their resume and they start applying for the jobs. So once a week, we review the class. We don't teach something new, but we review everything that was done during the week. We talked about group projects. We give quizzes, and also we have one session, right, every week, which is the mentor session at the beginning, right? After a couple of months, when students learn something, they meet with their mentor in a small group settings of 10 students, and they can ask those questions to mentors. Mentors are people that probably went through our bootcamp 5 years ago. Now they have a lot of experience in the field, and they can share their experience with our students and give them some tips during their small group sessions. So these are the classes, let's say the mandatory classes. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days a week from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So 3 hours on Tuesday, 3 hours on Wednesday, 3 hours on Thursday. It makes it all of 9 hours. Also on Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So 4 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday, which makes a total of 17 hours. So by the way, guys, make sure that all the times here are Eastern time. So this info session today is for our US and Canada students, right? Because also we have international students. So if you are in a different time zone, guys, for example, if you're not in Eastern, but you probably can be on Pacific time or whatever, like mountain time, a different time zone, make sure you do your calculation. So if you are in California, let's say, the class will be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., 3 days a week, and from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. during the Saturday and Sunday classes. So as I said, all the classes will be recorded. They will be shared with you, and you're going to be able, right? You're going to be able to watch them if you're not able to join them live, or to rewatch them if you watch them and you want to watch it again. So what is important here, guys? Let me see 1 second. So what is important here? The important part here is for you to dedicate your time to take this bootcamp seriously, because if you take this bootcamp seriously, at the end, you will change your life. You're going to be able to go to the interviews, you're going to be able to ace the interviews, and you are going to change your life yourself, right? Of course, we're going to help you, but you're going to change it yourself. But if you don't take the bootcamp seriously, it means that you're not starting. When you go to the interviews, you're not going to be able to do great there, and you're not going to be able to get offers. So that is, everything is depending on you guys. As long as you take it seriously, hopefully at the end you're going to be able to find a job. So now I'm going to invite one of our alumni. He was a student himself. Let me check here. Let me invite on there. And just 1 second on there. Let me,
You hear me, Alan?
yeah, I can hear you. Just 1 second. Okay. So if it's possible, if you can share your video.
You can see me?
Yes, I can see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Alien. How about you?
Good, good. Long time no see, right?
Right? It's almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
so thank you for joining our boot camp. So we have our prospect students which are interested in the boot camp.
Mhm.
So if you can share your perspective, how did you find the boot camp? How you during the boot camp, was it difficult? What was the difficult part for you after the boot camp? Uh, like how was the job like when you were looking for a job, and now that you're working as a software tester? So share your experience, and of course I'm also gonna get their questions and direct them to you when they have questions.
Yeah, sure. So in the beginning, I was like same the other guys. Like first when I joined to the webinar, I was like curious to asking a lot of questions. What's gonna happen? Like how long is it gonna take and what's gonna happen the next? And how it's gonna be like the classes. Trust me, guys, I was in the same as you. But when you're starting the class, it's yeah, it's you don't have to know like trust me anything because what they are teach it's starting from the beginning and it's make you excellent because they are going to teach you two different framework and you can use this in your entire career. Like right now, the company I work, they use the same framework that you guys teach it. Yeah, like the Selenium, Cucumber, the Java. Like, yeah, it was the hard part for me. Sometimes it was hard to join the classes because I was working in the restaurant that time. It was hard to join. But yeah, I mean, whenever you are missed a class, they are also recorded all the classes, so you can like when it's rewatch if you like missed a class or like if you don't understand anything. And it was a little bit, you have to be a little bit like strong will if you want to change your life, to be honest, because whenever you've been in this like industry, you understand like it's not that hard how it look like. It's really not that hard. Maybe when you join, it's gonna be couple like blurry. It's gonna be look like too much, but when you understand the logic, it's really easy to understand and to do what you do.
Okay, good. So during the boot camp, let's start like the process from the beginning. So what was the, let's say, the most difficult part for you? So you said one of the things was joining classes live because
Yeah.
you're working, and then probably what about which topic was difficult for you? Let's say soft skill classes or maybe technical classes.
Soft skill classes for me was
Soft
hard.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very important earlier that because they was told me like this is very important. Trust me, guys, the Wednesday, yeah, the Wednesday classes, the most important class because it's teach you how you're gonna talk in the interview, how you're gonna take the interview, how you're gonna talk with like the HRs or like that was very hard for me.
Okay. So another question that general. So by the way, guys,
Yeah.
if you have your questions, you can ask them in chat sections. But one of the questions that they have at the beginning is, did you have any background before the bootcamp? Any coding background, or what was your background?
Yeah, I was have like some experience with Java stuff, but to be honest, I don't have any experience with the testing tool, but the setting, the equipment. I haven't here in my entire life.
Oh, so you
But
had a little, you're one of the few students who had a little bit of background, right?
yeah,
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 definitely. So, by the way, guys, 95% of the students, they have no background. They come from
yeah,
different places, and they're probably had a little background himself because depending on where he came from. But of course,
yeah,
it depends on the person. And
yeah,
then another
exactly,
question is, so what about where you're applying for the job? What is difficult during that process, applying for
exactly.
jobs?
Yeah, it was the hardest thing. Like how I can say is like you have to apply too many jobs in a day, maybe like 50 or 60. Sometimes I was like applying just for 10 or 20, and I say I don't get any call. Of course, sometimes you're not going to be able to get calls for a while, and sometimes you're going to get a lot of calls. It just depends on how many jobs you're applying per day. And the other thing, when they are calling me, I didn't know how I'm gonna talk. You know, I don't know what I'm gonna say. And this also why, because I'm in that situation, is because I once didn't attend the soft skills class.
Hmm.
They called me, they asked me the question, and I don't know what I'm gonna say. And then I was connected with our team member. I say like, could you please tell me what I have to say if there's someone is calling? That was the hardest thing for me. And the other thing,
And at the end, did you get one offer or probably two offers? Because some of the students they get multiple offers, so you get only one.
yeah, I get actually, I get one offer and I get couple interview too after that offer. But I accepted this offer. But if I go, maybe I'm gonna get a couple offer too.
Oh, so you just said you liked the offer that you got, so you didn't want to continue to look for a job anymore.
Exactly.
That's good. And how long have you been working with this company right now? Almost 2 years, you said?
Yeah, almost 2 years actually. Yeah.
Okay, good. And you didn't change, you didn't look for another company, you're happy there?
I'm happy. It's just, sometimes I get like some message on the LinkedIn, but I would love to work in remote for my company. It works full time in office. It is what it is. I want to make like some more experience in here, just some more projects and to learn as much as I can. So maybe next year I can be in the market to looking for like, the remote position.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah,
After like they generally they and around like 3 years, it's good for you to try to like to
exactly.
switch to a new job so that you learn new tools and new projects and new team and everything. That's good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions here. I'm going to direct those
Sure,
questions to you, and then if you can answer them as short as possible. So
sure.
one is about the certificate at the end of the boot camp. So it's already answered at the end of the boot camp. Of course, we give the certificate, but what is most important, we help them find the job. So
Yeah.
giving a certificate is not important. What is important is for them to find a job and to start working in this industry. So that is the most
Exactly.
important. The second one is the soft skill instructor someone familiar with the field? I can answer it, but I want you to
Yeah.
answer that question.
Like, sorry, what was the question
Soft
again?
skill, the soft skill class instructor, is he familiar with the field?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We have a couple different people actually like to attend these classes. They are like share the experience, like how you're gonna talk and how you're gonna search things, or how you get a message, how you gonna send email. That was very important, guys, because they're within this field and they know what they have to do. And they share the experience with you.
Yeah. So the soft skill class are also our mentors. Those are people who are seasoned in the field. They have like 5 years of experience, some of them even more. And they, right, of course, they have a lot of experience. They share the experience with our students. So can the coursework be done on a mobile device? No, the coursework should be done on a computer. You need a computer because you're gonna learn coding, you're gonna learn Java. You need a computer for that. You cannot do it through the mobile. You can
Yeah,
watch the classes through mobile. That's okay, but
yeah,
you need a computer to write the code. So
right, but yeah, definitely you need it. Yeah.
So there's a common question everybody asks about AI. What about AI? Will AI cause us problems or will it help us in our field? What do you think?
Trust me, guys, this field is never gonna die. AI is just gonna make easy for you to like make like a lot of progress to do. Maybe it's gonna help you to create generated test cases, or maybe it's gonna like if you have like an issue in your coding, you're just gonna copy paste and search it for you what's the issue, and it's gonna fix your script. But when you've been in the industries, it might look like, oh yeah, you're gonna get take our job. Trust me, you're gonna have like too many things to do. Yeah, it's gonna help you, makes it easy for you. And you guys are lucky whenever you join a company. Like when I first joined, it's like our company not let us to use the AI, so it was a little bit hard for us, you know. But right now it's a law, so the people are joining. They don't need to going to asking question to anyone. They're just going to searching on the AI, and it's make it easier for them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, as you said, like some companies at the beginning were scared, but now more and
Yeah,
more they're using the AI because that's a tool which will help us do things faster.
exactly.
So one question is about the pricing. So we're gonna come later to the pricing, and then there are a lot of discounts there. So again, you're gonna get information about our sales team or admissions team. They will help you with let's say discounts and also
Mhm.
the program, the price. Okay, so let me see another questions here. How about we lose connection during testing? We have problem with network. I don't know what.
In in the when you work or like on the classes.
Yeah, so I don't know what
Mm.
Natalie is trying to ask, but so if you lose connection, so if you're working in a web application, if you lose
Mhm.
connection, of course you're gonna test it. You will need internet connection.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
So did it happen to you during work that you lose connection, and what do you do during
Yeah,
that
we
time?
do. Exactly. So Natalie, I have the same experience. We was working during the work and our manager come to us, you guys can go home. Okay, what's happened? They say there is like some issue with the connection and I was in the middle of the, right footing and we say, okay,
Yeah.
I'll go home. Yeah.
Yeah, so generally the people there are like us humans which help each other, right? And
Yeah.
always I remember myself when I was in the first company, I went there, I was so scared, and then I couldn't finish all my tasks of the first week. And then I'm like, oh my God, how I'm gonna tell it? And then I go in the meeting, I see the others, they have like 10 tasks, they finished only 7 of them or 6 of them, and then the manager is like, okay, let's pass this 3, 4 tasks to the next week.
Next
I'm
week.
like, I just missed only one. I was scared they missed like 3 and 4 of them. So that is, and of course, always they try to help you, and especially at the beginning, first month, they just give you 1 or 2 tasks to make sure
Yeah.
that you adapt. With time, you're gonna get even more.
Yeah.
So is there a computer that is recommended? So after you join, of course, you can get any computer that is, let's say I can get, I'm going to give a general, like around 800 to $1,000.
Yeah.
Uh, but of course, even less probably can work. Some people prefer Mac, which are a little bit more expensive. So you can do the boot camp with Windows or Mac. It's up to you guys.
Yeah. Like my computer was 6 years old and I was using and I still use it.
Yeah, definitely, right? So if you have a computer, try with that one. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't, right, if it's not enough for you, if you want a better one, definitely you can buy later. You
Yeah.
don't need to buy any computer before the
Yeah.
bootcamp starts. And then you already explained about the AI. So everybody's
Yeah.
scared of AI, but I
Don't
see AI as a tool which will help us, and then we will make our like jobs easier. And of course, there's a famous saying, AI will not take our job, but somebody who learns AI will take
will
our
take
job if we don't. So we will need to
exactly.
learn coding, and of course, we also need to learn AI.
Yeah, just one thing I wanna say, like in the interview, they're gonna ask you like how you are using the AI in your automation script or how you do this. So try to be more familiar with AI. I just can recommend that.
Okay. So another good question is after the bootcamp, will our titles be software tester? And yes, and will we be able to work as automation testers with your skill sets or only manual tester? What do you think?
You're gonna be full stack, like full stack automation tester, because they are teaching you the Java, like Selenium, testing you the cucumber, the Postman, REST API. So you basically are full stack. So you're gonna be able to do any testing, the database, the UI, or the APIs.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah, you can get any title that you want.
And I see another question. Will they help us become pen tester? I believe they're talking about penetration tester. That's not with testing. That's penetration is about cybersecurity. So that's
Mhm.
not doesn't have to do with QA.
Yes.
So no, this is not a let's say this is not a cybersecurity class or bootcamp. This is a QA or
Cool.
testing. So only software testing, okay? Not
Yeah.
penetration tester, that's something else.
Yes.
Another question here is on a typical day, how long does it take to complete a task
Good
of
question.
hmm?
That's a good question. So our sprint, it's like a 3 week sprint. It's like, for example, each sprint I get sometimes 7 tasks. Like, sometimes I get a 3 tasks. Just depend of the story. And right now, me and my friends, we have 2 guys as automation tester, and it's depend on you. Like, don't be like too cool to finish your task in the beginning of the week. It's smart work, like create your test cases, execute it, but try to explain, oh yeah, I was do this, I was do this, I was do this, because you guys kind of gonna have like a daily session, and you're gonna explain what you are doing. Like try to be strong, like try to finish all your tasks, but if you don't, you can explain why it's not done, because sometimes this depend of the application, maybe this the story is not done by the developer as the proper way. So you are create a lot of bug tickets, and this is all the critical. So
Definitely.
depend on the test, yeah.
So by the way, guys, as like there are some things that you're gonna learn during the bootcamp, but in short, a sprint is what you do during a specific time. So
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
the sprint is 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, depending on the company. So let us suppose that that's a 1 week. So you take your tests at the beginning of the week. Tasks are you decide how many hours you're going to spend for each task. So put points, we call it a point system. And you're going to learn this one during our soft skill
It's
classes. And you're going to be doing this one, practicing this one during the project because we do a big project in a group. The mentor will be there. They'll teach you how you get 3 points or 3 hours for one task. And yeah, how you decide that this is, let's say, 13 hours for another task, right? So all of
yeah.
these things are depending on the size of the task. Okay. Will we
Yes.
build a GitHub portfolio throughout the bootcamp? GitHub?
Okay. Yeah, they gotta teach you how you use the GitHub, the Git. So definitely try to also learn the Git and GitHub because it's so important. Like they're gonna teach you, maybe it's right now it's gonna be weird, but I could say there's gonna be branch for the each you guys, and you're gonna try to what you do in the local to push in the GitHub, and they're gonna teach you like to maybe Jenkins to for the pipeline stuff. This can be like right now is like maybe not meaningful for you guys, but no worries, you're gonna go.
Probably these people that ask these questions, they have a little bit of knowledge. That's good
They
one.
look like,
So
yeah,
yeah, but definitely we're gonna teach about GitHub and we're gonna experience the GitHub during the project with the team
yeah,
members, how like you get a conflict, how you solve a
yeah.
conflict, and everything there. So I think we had a lot of good questions here, and I hope that you're happy with the answers by and there. So thank you very much for coming in there. And if you have
You're
your, let's
welcome.
say, final, I don't know, sentence, final thing that you want to share with
Yeah,
them, if
yeah,
you really suggest this one, if it changed your life, and I don't know if you're happy with this with career.
yeah. To be honest, guys, I'm really happy because you work, you sit down, and you just like in front of the computer, and you do like the job you love, and you win good money. And I mean, and just one thing I wanna say during the classes, try to listen carefully and done your task after class.
That's good. So
Yeah,
thank you very much, Ander, for coming,
you're
sharing your
welcome.
experience with them, and they're thankful to you.
Of
And
course.
hopefully, we're probably going to hear from you in the future.
Of
Okay, and
course,
if you need
anytime.
something again, you don't forget to contact our team if you need any help with, let's say, next job
Yeah.
looking. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ander.
Oh, bye.
Let me continue with my presentation from where I left. Is this a job we can do from anywhere in the world? Yes, definitely. So that is the short answer is definitely. So some of the companies they want you to work remotely. Some of them they want you to go to the office, depending on the company. So it changes, right? But of course, right, we have a lot of students that are working, and then after like I don't know during summer they want to go to back to their country. Probably they're from different countries there, or probably to another state and have some vacation and work during right remotely. Most of the companies they allow you to I don't know to have a time off to work from remote. Some of them you never go to the office, so it depends, always depends on the company. Thank you very much, Under. So now about job placement. So our job placement team, we have a designated team which helps you after you're done with the boot camp while you are applying for the jobs and everything there. So we start with a mock interview. As I said, when we're done with the boot camp, every and each of our students, they go through an interview process with one of our instructors or mentors. They do the interview. If they're good, they pass our interview, everything is okay, we give the green light. If not, we of course give some feedback to make sure that they're learning. The purpose of this one is not to scare anybody. The purpose of this one is to be prepared for the real interviews. After they pass the mock interview, they build their resume. Of course, we have resume building classes. They build their resume, and then after that, right? And then after that, our team again goes there over their resume. They make changes, adjustments there, and then they make sure their resume is according to the market. And then we also have some sessions about how to apply for the jobs and where to apply. So we teach about different, let's say, platforms like LinkedIn, Dice, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, different ones, right? And then, of course, as I said, during the class, we also give some soft skills classes, which is very important to prepare for the interviews and market knowledge and everything there. During our bootcamp, we have our mentoring, right, which is our mentors, which have a lot of experience. They have looked for a job, they have switched to different jobs, they have been working in probably one or multiple companies, so they have a lot of experience. They share their experience with the students. And of course, our alumni network, right? We have a lot of students that are working right now, like Under himself, or a lot of our alumni. Every time we do an info session, we invite one or two alumni to share their experience. So all of them, sometimes they have a job openings there in their company. They share it with us because they also make some money by finding somebody for their company, and also we refer to our students. So a lot of these things to make sure that you are going through this process and finding a job at the end. Also, what is one of the important things I probably mentioned earlier is salary negotiation. Sometimes you can have multiple offers. One company offered you 105, another one offered you 115. Which one is better? How can you make sure you like this job, but if this one is 115, I'll pick this one. So you can, right, talk about these things. And of course, our job placement team will teach you about those tricks, how to make sure that you are, right, you are raising your compensation to make sure you're maximizing them. So if you go to Glassdoor, of course, this was like, I don't know, months ago. This has changed now. This is even higher. So the you can look yourself in different web platforms, guys. Just go to Google, ask this question, and you'll find that the medium, right, average salary is more than 100K per year, right? And of course, right, we have different students that have found a job, and I'm going to show you right now some of the offers that they have gotten recently to show you, and so that you can compare yourself, right? So by the way, these are some real offers gotten that were taken by our students. We have just hidden their names and company names to make sure to protect their privacy. But here the salary is $48 per hour, which makes about 96 generally. That's how it's calculated, 96 per year. So it's almost 100 per year. Sometimes companies, they have a bonus when they join the company. So there are a lot of things, and then right, it depends. So here there's another one. This guy here, he got a 135 a year, right, which is in the upper end of the this salary. And also they got a 20,000 bonus. So you see, guys, depending, right? So depending on the company, some of them, they offer you a higher salary depending on what they're trying to do, right? So I'm going to show you other offers here. So there's another one here. That is a job title. The salary is 45 per hour, which makes 90 a year. Let me find another one here. This is bi-weekly salary, meaning that every 2 weeks they get this salary, which again, it makes about 9,000 a month, which makes 108 per year. And also there is another sign-in bonus. So when you join the company, you have a bonus of a plus $2,000. Another one here, I'm going to show you a couple more, and then I'm going to continue with the presentation. So another offer here is 112, right? 112,000 per year. There's another one here, which is $80 per hour. Look at this one here. I didn't have this information. I forgot about this one. $80 per hour, guys, means 160, because if you make the calculation, makes about 160 a year. So again, as I said, it depends on the company. It depends on the state. So this one is in Houston. So there's another one, which is 82,000, which is low. This is in Austin, Texas. Probably they have lower incomes there, and probably they don't have state test. And most of the companies they offer you 401k, uh, let's say insurance benefits, and all of other things there. So another one, this is the last one I'm going to show. This one is 106 per year, and that's right, and that's what you. There are a lot of different different offers here. I just wanted to show you some offers just to make sure that to have an idea about how the market looks like. So again, right, always these offers, guys, depends on the New York area. I guess I have a question here, that's why I'm answering this one. So I think this one was from New York. Yeah, this one here. That's why this one is higher because the salaries, so also the expenses are higher there. That's why also the salaries are higher. So this is from New York. So yes, different areas. So these are some of the companies that our alumni are working. These are, I don't know if they are in 500 top 500 companies, but that doesn't matter. There are a lot of other alumni that are working in different companies. Probably they're working in a smaller company, but probably also having a higher salary. So it doesn't mean that if you're working in a very big company like eBay, Oracle, Bank of America, doesn't mean that the salary is the highest. But of course, these are some prestigious companies that the ARC alumni are working there. Okay. And then now, guys, I'm gonna invite back Eric. He's gonna talk about the tuition, right? So I know that this is the most important part when people are asking about the price. What is the price of the bootcamp? How it works? So Eric is gonna go over it. Yes.
All right, thanks, Leon. This is exciting. I love hearing from our graduates and then seeing those offer letters. And keep in mind, guys, these are people who are getting those offer letters who, just like you, they didn't have any experience in the IT industry. They graduated from our boot camp, but we gave them the experience that they needed. That's the whole purpose of the boot camp. So you can work on those projects and we help you with your resume, job placement, all that good stuff. All right, let's wrap this up and start going into the tuition. This is the part that you probably have been waiting for. So if you have looked into university, maybe for yourself or for your children, guys, I don't need to tell you that it costs a lot of money, doesn't it, to go to school? The average cost of education going to a four-year university is over $36,000 a year. That is insane, isn't it? And I know you can get a scholarship, you can get some grants maybe, but we have a student loan crisis in the country. That's a whole other topic. How much student loan debt do we have? Like $1 trillion? I mean, it's so crazy. The average boot camp is over $13,000. And then you've got us down here, Neotech Academy. All right. So what we have done is we have structured things in such a way to make getting involved in the IT industry attainable for most people because it's not just the 30 some thousand dollars a year, to go to university. And by the way, I didn't even talk about a private school, a private university where it could be 50, 60, 70 grand a year. It's not just the money, it's the time also. You're spending years to get educated. And then once you're educated, they have no incentive whatsoever to help you land a job. I mean, wouldn't that be nice to go to university, you spend $200,000 and at least, they help you land a job? Well, that's what separates us from everything else that's out there because as we go through the tuition, the reason why we keep the tuition low is because, or we're able to do the tuition at such a low price, is because we have this built-in job placement program that Elian was mentioning a moment ago. So here's how it works, guys. So we have the regular tuition. That's at 5249, not 13,000 or anything like that. We also offer an early bird discount because again, we have the boot camp beginning on the 7th of September. That is just after Labor Day coming up. And we have some things for you to do before the boot camp actually gets underway. So you don't want to procrastinate. And we also offer a webinar discount. So just by attending this webinar, you get an extra $100 off. When you reach out to us, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second, that'll be taken into consideration. And then the early bird discount of $100 off. So that brings the tuition down to $5,049, but it's not paid all at once. Don't worry about that. It's done in 7 monthly installments of $721. So again, the reason we're able to keep that tuition low, not 13,000, not 200,000, anything like that, is because we have this job placement program. And this is really how regular universities should operate, in my opinion. In other words, the way it should be is we do well when you do well. I mean, universities and other boot camps, they've already got your money. So what incentive do they have to help you land a job? So we're incentivized here. It helps to put us really on the same side of the table with you. So the way the placement fee works is 85% of your first month's salary after you find a job, your first monthly salary. So you don't pay this if you can't find a job, and that's even divided up. So don't worry if you're like, oh man, they helped me land a job for $8,000 a month, but they're going to take 85% of that. Well, no, it's paid in 4 monthly installments, and that's how we keep the tuition really low. Okay, but again, we're incentivized to help you land that first job. So again, it puts us on the same side of the table, and really we're taking the risk in this case. So we have limited space. Reach out to us, and I'll give you that information on how to do that in just a second. When you're referred by a Neotech student or alumni, this is how we get the tuition even lower. Let us know if you were referred by someone because we can give you even more of a reduction. When you sign up in groups, we love it when people sign up in groups because you can encourage each other. You can help each other with homework. Maybe down the road, you can, if you find an opportunity at your job and you met somebody through the boot camp, you could say, "Hey, we have an opening here. Why don't you check it out? I think you'd be perfect for that." So if you do sign up in groups of two, each student gets another $150 off. Groups of three, each student gets 200 off. Groups of four or more, reach out to us and we can help you with an even bigger discount. But again, you can motivate each other. It's just like going to the gym with someone that, is a friend of yours to help, do that extra rep. Now, here's a big question people have. What if I change my mind later? Well, the good news is there's no deposit, there's no application fee. You don't pay anything until the boot camp actually kicks off. You start paying when the classes begin, not before. You can cancel for free anytime until the boot camp starts, no questions asked. And again, we give you that 30-day money back guarantee, 100% refund if you decide to leave until you complete your first month. So, what this boils down to again is we're taking the risk because we're letting you in at such a low price, at such a low tuition, where they're going to help you with the job placement to put us on the same side of the table. Now, to learn more about the boot camp, here's how you do that. You go to neotechacademy.com/bootcamp. You can also book a call with our admissions team, neotech.live/call. Now, let's say you're not ready to call. That's okay. You can just simply submit your interest by going to neotech.com/apply. But guys, I can't emphasize this enough. Secure your spot now. Don't put it off. You want to be like our graduates who said, this could be the way to change my life. I love what was said earlier during that interview about how, yeah, this really is life changing. Just like I was saying at the very beginning, it's not just the boot camp itself, but what happens afterwards. With the job placement and getting that potential offer where you put all of that together, and that really is life changing because imagine being in a job where some of you said you're not able to do what you want to do. You're not able to work remotely. You're not able to make the kind of money that you deserve, or they tell you got to be at your job for like 5 years, 10 years before you can finally start making a good six-figure income. How about making that potentially right out of the gate, not too long after you graduate from the boot camp? But secure your spot now. Don't procrastinate. I mean, that's what a lot of people do, or I shouldn't say a lot. I mean, some people do. They procrastinate. And I had a buddy who, was telling me for years that he was going to start his own business because he used to be self-employed. And it became a running joke. Every time we got together for lunch, I asked him, "So have you started your own business? Have you looked into it yet?" This went on for years, and finally he did. I think after like 10, 12 years of constantly saying he was going to start his own business. And now he regrets it. Now he's like, "Why didn't I do this before?" So don't live a life of regrets. Let this be the day that things really changed for you. I'm looking up here at my calendar on the wall here. So yeah, today's the 3rd of August, 2025. Maybe this is the day where things, truly changed and you took that step to, change your life. Not just for you, but for your family, for your loved ones. So email us for any questions, team@neotechacademy.com. Again, schedule a phone call, neotech.live/call, or call us directly. We're giving you every possible way to get a hold of us. Call directly at 929 566 3919. Now, before we get to your final questions here, let's just run through a quick comparison. I won't go through all of these in the interest of time, but let's do a comparison between getting involved with us, letting us train you, and to help you land that first job potentially, compared to doing this yourself or going to university or just taking some online courses. So if you're self-taught, how much time will that take you? Well, who knows? I mean, the average person is going to procrastinate and they're like, "Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow." How many times have you heard people say that? Do you know anybody who's like that? They're like, "Oh, I'll start eating right and exercising tomorrow." I can't do it now, I've got too much going on, but tomorrow I'll get to it, or next week, or next month, next year. And of course, it never happens with a lot of people. University, 4 years and a lot of money, generally. Online courses are self-paced. Who knows how long those will take. But with us, it's standard. I mean, it's 6 months. We have an actual curriculum in place. It's hands-on. You're learning with real teachers. In other words, people who are actually out there doing it. They're not learning, they're not teaching things in theory. When I was in university, and I don't regret going, but I didn't learn anything about IT. I took business classes. But I remember my business professors, no offense to them, I don't think a single one actually started their own business. They worked in academia, most of their adult life. So everything was theoretical. With us, it's market driven. The learning content is, we offer one-on-one mentorship, almost 24/7 technical support. We have that community that you get involved with that can help you, maybe go from, a place where you're working now that might be pretty good after graduation, but maybe there's something better for you. And so we give you that community that can help you land an even better job potentially after you get that first job. So the pluses, the pros far outweigh the cons. I mean, I really don't know of any cons. I mean, you're learning a skill set that nobody can take from you. Think about that for a second. Once you've got this skill set, nobody can take it away. And you've got to have a skill set, guys, that can make you money potentially no matter what happens. We saw what happened with that pandemic. So many industries were shut down. What happened to the IT industry? It kept going. It kept thriving because we were already working remotely and just in the things that we were doing, the world had to keep moving forward. And so the IT industry thrived where other industries were not thriving. So you made the right decision in being here today, and I know that if you move forward, you will not regret it. Don't delay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Elian back on. So for any final questions you guys might have, and again, guys, if you do have questions for us, just fire away here. And I'm going to put the contact information up here. So if you didn't catch that earlier, if you want to learn more about the boot camp, you see how you can do that just by what's on the screen. Do we have any final questions?
Yeah, so by the way, guys, just to repeat that part. So of course, people, they go and study in university, they spend a lot of money because they want to have a career. A lot of people that try different things, guys. These boot camps, so this is the part that we made sure that we're trying to help people that are gonna do the first step in this career. So the first part is during the classes, right? So during the classes, you are paying about $720 a month during this 6-7 months of the boot camp. So after you finish the boot camp, guys, you start applying for the job. So you're looking for the job, and as I said, like if you take it seriously and if you spend time, 90%, 99% of the students will find a job. I can say 100%, but of course I don't want to say 100% because that depends on you, right? But if you take it seriously and if you continue looking for a job, you will definitely find a job at the end. Some of the students, they find a job in 2 months. Some of the students, they find a job in 3-4 months. So of course, it always depends, right? Always depends on the person. So we also have some discounts to help the students. So there is a early bird discount. There is a webinar if you join this one discount. If you are joining with a friend, you can go 2 friends together. You get a discount because you're joining as a group. If you know somebody like Under or somebody else, right? So you might use also that discount. So we have a discount from our students. So there are a lot of discounts that we're trying to help you there. So you are paying that first part, which is during the classes. The second part is only after you find the job. So of course, if you don't find the job, you're not going to pay that second part. But hopefully, you find the job at the end, and when you find the job at the end, you're going to pay the second part, which is so. By the way, guys, when you do a call here, you mention all the discounts possible. So you can rewatch this. You can rewatch this video. So if you mention that you joined the webinar, you're gonna get the webinar discount, Gurleen. So that's a good question for Gurleen. So also, if, as I said, if you have a friend, you may mention your friend. So you're doing the bootcamp together, you get another discount. Or if you know one of alumni, you get all of these discounts. And then after you find the job, then you pay that 85% of the first month salary. So that also will be paid in installments. So not the first month you give everything to us and then you don't have anything for yourself. You will pay the job placement fee in 3 installments, 4 installments, 6 installments. Depending, of course, you're going to talk with our admission team, and you're going to get a contract for that, right? For everything. So if you already signed the contract, can you get the discount? Yes, definitely. Talk back to our admission team, and you mention, you know what, there's another discount I couldn't get when I signed. Definitely, we're gonna also help you get the discount. Don't worry. Yes, definitely. So there are different ways. If you go to different boot camps, guys, some of the boot camps, they want you to pay everything up front. Let's say you pay $15,000 up front, and they don't care if you find a job or not. But we do it in 2 parts because we want to make sure that you're finding a job. We want to split the responsibility in 2. There are also some of the boot camps, you can go and look there, that get everything at the end, but they get 20% of 2 years salary. And then if you make the calculation, probably you're paying $30,000-$40,000. If that's the way that works for you, definitely go and research. And there are also other ways to help the students, right? But our way is pay a little bit upfront, and then after you find a job, we are splitting this responsibility in half because we believe that if you take it seriously, you're gonna be able to find a job at the end, and hopefully, right, you and us gonna get both our parts. But of course, always it depends on you. It depends on your financial situation and everything. Okay. Any other questions about the bootcamp, guys? So I don't see any other questions. Okay, just one second. So we're gonna share this information with you guys. We're gonna send the recorded video with you. If you want to make a call, make a call. And by the way, what is very important is that if you sign a contract now, you're not gonna pay anything until the bootcamp starts. When the bootcamp starts on September 7th, that's when you start, right? That's when you start paying, and that's when you are, right? That's we are considered our students. And of course, what is very important, guys, also you have, so if you go to, very good question. So here is the phone call, but we suggest you to schedule a call so that you make sure that you give, at a specific time that you are available, and then one of our team members can call you. If they don't call, or if you don't get a call, you can definitely go to this number directly, okay? To the 3919 number, you can give a call, okay? And discuss with them all the discounts. Make sure that you get all the discounts, and also learn all the information. And I was mentioning that you have 30 days, guys, from September 7 up to October 7. During this time, guys, you are going to see for yourself, join the classes, and if you decide not to continue, if it's not for you, if you don't like it, you can definitely drop the class, and we also going to refund you the first payment. We want to make sure that you're trying for yourself and you're getting all the information that is needed, okay? So thank you everyone for joining, and I hope I see you in about a month in September 7th.
All right, take care, guys.